Exactly.
So, all right. Well, I want to welcome everybody and call to order the Board of Selectmen meeting for the evening of October 25th, 2021. And please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. All right, second item is, can I get an approval of the minutes from October 12th, 2021?
So moved.
And Scott seconds, okay. Any amendments or changes to the minutes?
So I had one thing. On number 8, it looks like it may have been cut off. The last sentence just says, Mr. Stableford added that the difference between the, and then it stops.
What's wrong with that?
Maybe he lost the train of thought.
It leaves you guessing. And then it just moves on to the next, like number 9.
Good catch.
So, yeah.
So we'll amend the motion to strike that last sentence because clearly.
Yeah. And these are transcripts anyway, so.
I didn't know if there was more that might be missing from that. Like, if it got cut off.
No, when I do the minutes, because you guys all speak so fast, I like pre-type out some starting sentences.
Oh, okay.
So that I don't have to type them while you're talking. So that was just what that was.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so amending a motion to amend, excluding that sentence.
Second.
Okay. All right. All in favor of approving the minutes as amended, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Okay, next on to first Selectwoman's updates. Well, I just want to acknowledge that this is the last meeting of this current Board of Selectmen. It has been an honor to serve with each of you during these very challenging 2 years. We've lived through quite a lot, multiple states of emergencies that required us to adapt and change how we conduct our business, but we found ways to come together as a board to serve our community. And with that, I'm very grateful. I also want to acknowledge that no matter what happens at next week's election, one of us will not be sitting here by choice. And that is Selectman Erin Duquesne. She's going to have a lot of free time on her hands now. And I encourage you to
Don't rub it in.
Get the popcorn out and continue to watch our meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I know being a volunteer on an elected board is not easy and requires a tremendous amount of personal sacrifice and dedication by both you and your family. So people do give up a lot to do this type of service. And I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of Madison for your willingness to step up and serve during what has probably been the most tumultuous time in Madison's recent history. I know you took your duties seriously and gave it your full effort. And then finally, I just want to encourage everyone to vote in this year's municipal election. You can still vote by absentee ballot through the town clerk's office or at the ballot box on November 2nd. And a reminder, the District 1 polling station was moved from the senior center. It is now at Polson Middle School, and District 2 is at the Brown School. So with that, I will open it up for Selectmen's comments.
Thanks. So if I could jump the line, Erin, this is going to be a roast now.
Gonna make her sing a song, Bruce?
Jeez.
So Madison is blessed with engaged residents willing to stand up and volunteer for important work in our community. It's especially hard for people with growing careers and young families to do this. And so when we're lucky enough to have the help of someone like Erin, I think we should recognize it. When I first spoke to Erin about becoming a select person, I lied shamelessly about how much work was involved.
True.
From my first conversation with her, I just knew she had to be on the board and I was not going to let the opportunity slip away. If there was ever a time where the ends justified the means, that was it. So sorry, not sorry, Erin, about that. Starting on day one of her term, I knew I was right. Erin hit the ground running and brought an informed and thoughtful perspective to the board. She took the time to be educated on the issues and was truly engaged with the various committees she liaised with and served on. Erin always focused on the relevant facts and was open to new information. Quite simply, she made the Board of Selectmen better. Erin, as you turn your focus back to your family and your legal practice, I want you to know how much I have valued your counsel and friendship. Your presence will be missed, and it is my great hope that you will once again find time to serve on a town board. And when you do, I will be your biggest supporter. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I think I saw a tear.
Bittersweet.
I'm happy to say a few words. So I would love to just acknowledge, my colleague and friend, Erin Duquesne, who honestly, she's literally my left-hand person. So she is my partner in crime. I sit next to her on the board. So we try to not only, focus on policy making and all the wonderful things that we do to drive our town forward, but I think we've had a little bit of fun along the way as well. She puts up with me. She tolerates me. And so, I just sincerely appreciate all your efforts, the heart that you bring to the board, and a fresh perspective that you bring to the board. I think, you challenge us to think about maybe some things a little differently, which is always a good thing. And I really appreciate everything that you've done. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Erin, I guess I get to go next.
Sorry, Al.
Erin,
Me too.
Yeah. We've so admired your ability to expertly juggle so many demands on your time and energy. I think few of us would have attempted this assignment at the stage in life that you're at now. And so we admire you for doing so. I think you've brought to this table your keen intellect, your thoughtful analysis, and as you've demonstrated already this evening, your attention to detail. The citizens of Madison have been well served by your commitment to public service. So on behalf of all of us, Erin, thank you.
Thank you. I have just a short thing I prepared as well. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the town of Madison alongside all my fellow board members over the last 2 years. Although almost a 20-year resident of Madison, I began this term as a newcomer to town government. But over the past 2 years, I've learned so much about our town, not only about its operations, but also about the people, programs, and resources that make Madison so special and so unique. Having served during a global pandemic, I would argue that this has probably been one of the most unusual board terms in history, but it has given me the opportunity to see and appreciate how our town came together during this time. I've come to know and appreciate our dedicated and talented town staff, who are the backbone and force behind the successful operations of our town. Resident volunteers who give their time, including my fellow board members, talent and ideas to serve on boards and committees, and residents young and old who take the time to attend our meetings, become educated on various topics, and contact us with their opinions and ideas. And I am grateful to you all. This experience has reinforced for me the importance of public service and volunteerism in our community. Although I have decided not to run again for this board, I intend to continue to serve the town, and I encourage and urge other town residents to do the same. And that includes participating in the upcoming town elections on November 2nd. Thank you, Madison, for the opportunity to serve.
Great. Very nice words. Well done. Your last liaison report. So I think any other comments, and we'll move on. Yeah. Yep.
I guess just one last one, not about Erin, but I mean, my goodness, that's incredible, by the way. But I did have a Madison Youth and Family Services meeting on the 12th. And then last weekend or the weekend before it was Pride Fest, which I just wanted to acknowledge that happened 12 to 5 on the town green. And I just thought it was a wonderful reflection of our diversity in town. And I was very, very proud to attend that. So that's it. End of report. Nothing fancy.
Okay. Okay, any other liaison reports? Nope. Okay, great. Well, and then with that, we'll move on to citizens' comments. Lauren, do we have any citizens' comments?
No one has their hand raised.
Okay,
We have
great.
4 citizens.
Yeah, there are 4.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is discuss and take action to approve the ethics code. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Al, seconding. Okay, seconded by Al. Okay, and so obviously tonight we just held a public hearing about our proposed ethics ordinance. This was something that the board moved forward at our last meeting. And we just had public comment with just a few favorable comments at the public hearing. And now the board would need to take action and approve it. So with that, I open up for discussion.
So what exactly are our limitations in this discussion? Are we free to make improvements into the document to do anything to it, or are we simply faced with a vote this or vote nothing?
So I know that Aaron had made put forward a draft this afternoon that she had sent out to the board with some amendments. And they were, significant. They weren't just typos or wordsmithing 1 or 2 things. And so I reached out to the town council, and she said that in order to make any substantive changes to this, the board would be required to hold another public hearing. So it would delay us approving this and moving forward. I want to recognize that I think, some of the ideas and suggestions were obviously worthy of consideration, but I do feel that there's been ample time to have reviewed those earlier in the process. I would recommend that we could take those and move them forward to the next board, because I think, as we all know, an ordinance is just a beginning a lot of times, and we can amend and change ordinances and update them and make additional revisions. It's kind of a living document. And so those things could be submitted to the new board. But I think the important thing is just to move this forward so that we have, a code in place so we can start, because it's going to take a while to get the Ethics Commission up and running. There's going to be a lot of things in town hall that we need to do in terms of amending policies and reflecting the new ordinance. And then I think it gives us opportunities to refine and clarify things as questions may arise in the future. So that would be my suggestion, because I do feel that the proposals this afternoon that were sent to us late this afternoon were, they would require us to basically delay the process again and not enact this.
Okay. Well, I guess I just had a different understanding. I talked to Carrie, who I don't see on the meeting now, unfortunately. And we talked about issues at length, and at the end, what she said to me and then what she relayed on to the board was that what I was doing is bringing up issues of policy, not necessarily technical document issues, but issues that we as a board needed to discuss and debate, and we really haven't had that discussion yet. So I'm hoping, so my starting place is how do we make this happen tonight and still put in a document that works. And I agree, we can ask the future board to do this, and they're very likely to do it even if we don't ask them. But the process of amending an ordinance is actually pretty cumbersome, at least if you're going to go for the technical changes. So the future board would have to go through another hearing as well, I think, for the type of changes that we're talking about. So I think
I think they'd have to go through another hearing regardless, right? I mean, I think that's,
Yeah.
I think that this, let's just talk about the timeline a little bit here, just to remind people that, this is been on the agenda for multiple times since February, and the discussion of the ordinance was proposed in July. A draft was circulated in August, reflecting changes and comments by the board, because we talked about this at our August meeting, and then again in September. And then we chose to move forward to public hearing. I mean, I think this is a solid document that is worth enacting this evening. It's gone through the proper process, and we've received public feedback. And then we can move on from there. I mean, there's going to continue to be things that'll pop up. There's a lot of things in terms of the procedures and Board of Selectmen policies that we need to talk about as well that will be impacted by this. And then we need to set up the commission, and then the commission itself might have some recommendations as they start working through the practicality of running the commission. So there's going to be changes to this, I'm sure. But I think we got to start with something. This has been, discussed enough. This is a good document. We've gone through multiple revisions, and I feel it's ready and worthy to be voted on this evening.
I wonder too, I mean, in reality, it's never going to be perfect. So enacting something, at least to put the ordinance in place, kind of putting a stake in the ground, is kind of a smart move at this point. And then, Aaron, I mean, I read through your changes. I'm not going to say that I understood every one of them, and certainly would love to hear some of your input and thoughts on that. But I think just process wise, given we've already gone through the public hearing, I guess I would propose that we move it forward and then let the new board work through the policy issues, and maybe the committee or commission itself also then start to work through any recommended tweaks and changes and things that they see fit as we put forward their charge.
So I apologize that I think I misunderstood, and there was certainly a delay in my comments, but Lauren had reached out to me to ask me to do a review of the draft, which there had been changes to since we last met as a board. And it took me a long time to turn it around, which is my fault. But in reviewing the document and in reviewing all of the policies from all of the towns that Floyd had sent us when Peggy and I were first working on this, I realized that there was some key things missing in here. And there's actually some things that I think might be wrong. So I don't know why we can't, I'd like to know the legal basis for why we can't make some revisions to this. Because I guess I'm not understanding that, other than that's what Carrie said. And look, I'm not looking to hold this up. I know that we've been working on this for a while, but again, there's a couple of things in here that I'm not sure is correct. And I also think that when it comes to, and this board's never discussed this, and I think it should be discussed, that when it comes to someone making a complaint against someone, that's going to result in a finding that someone committed an ethical violation, that person should be made aware that that complaint's been made against them, and that they should have an opportunity to respond. I mean, I think I know some of the things I have in here are, we could do without, but I think that's a pretty important point that we, at least as a board, should address and discuss, because I think particularly during the current political climate that we have in our town right now, it concerns me that someone could make a complaint against someone, and that person doesn't even know about it and doesn't have an opportunity to respond.
So I guess with that, I wish this had been brought forward in July 19th when we talked about this, August 23rd when we talked about this, and then September 14th
Well,
when we talked about
I understand that,
this.
but I was kind of surprised that this even came from, some of this came from, had been reviewed by town council.
It's the
To be
same
honest.
draft we've been dealing with for months, and I feel like we just have to put a stake in the ground sometimes and move forward. And I think this is a solid proposal. There are always things that we can, this is modeled after Guilford, which we had agreed we would do. And I think that I'm just kind of, it's discouraging just that, you know, if there was concerns about this, you know, they should have been sent prior to 3 hours before the meeting. And so
Peggy,
we're
we get a
being
lot of
asked to vote on
information.
these.
We get a lot of information right before the meeting.
Not
So-
to vote on it, Aaron.
We
This
get
has
a
been
lot
out
of
there
information
since
right before the
September.
meeting.
This
And
has been
again,
out there since September. It's
I
been on the public
apologize.
website for 15 days.
And there's a draft on the website with red text on it.
That are your requested changes.
I'm just saying,
So-
it's been amended since we last met. So what's the difference? I don't understand.
So,
It's
I
been
mean, I
amended.
think, you know, look, I think that we can find reasons to delay again.
I'm
even
not
though
trying
this has
to,
been
okay,
going on.
you can characterize this as my attempt to delay, but I can assure you, I'm not trying to delay. I am on board with this policy, Peggy. You and I have been working on this. I've never said, I've
Because
never made
the
any objections to
bot-
us having an ethics policy, but
The problem is
and I
that
saw-
according to, if we change, this is what the public read. So if we make substantive changes to
where does
it,
it say that?
that the public does not have an opportunity to comment on it. That
Where
was
does it
her
say that?
opinion. I mean,
The
I can
only
try to get
notice-
her on here, but the problem is the draft you sent, Aaron, was such a big markup. There's no way we would work through all that tonight.
There wasn't that big of a mark. There was text that was
I
moved.
couldn't
That's
tell.
not-
It was like you moved things around, you added,
Well,
made some additions.
Lauren redid it for you so that you could see it. So I don't know what you mean. by you
I
couldn't tell.
don't, you know, I think that this is, you know, in my view, an important enough issue that we should just have a vote on this.
It's very important. I agree.
And I feel like I just struggling with the amount of delays that have been going on for months to finally take a vote on this. And like I said, we can update, make changes, make refinements, but if we keep pushing off, waiting for the perfect document, we're never going to get there.
It's not
so-
the perfect document, Peggy, but it needs to be correct. It needs to be correct. And that's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for the perfect document.
So I'm asking other board members' opinions.
I feel comfortable that it was reviewed by town council, that it's at least legally appropriate. So I guess I respectfully disagree, Aaron. I mean, I know your heart's in the right place. I know that you're trying to do the right thing with your comments and suggestions, but some of them may be more word tweaks as opposed to needs. And I do think we have plenty of opportunity with the new board and with the committee once they're in place to fine tune and continue to refine it and make it better. And I think each new organizational construct that becomes involved in this ethics commission is probably going to have some additional input to make it better. So to me, today is just putting a stake in the ground and saying this is important as a board of selectmen.
Well, so, I mean, the issues that I have are the issues I had back in September when we first stumbled on moving this forward. My hope was at the time that we could move an imperfect document forward to public hearing and then work to correct it, so that when we got to public hearing, we had a better document. I think the advice was no, once we vote on the document, it can't be changed at all until it gets to public hearing. The philosophical position that we are going to have people potentially accused of an ethics violation and them not be aware of it, and them not understand who that person that's brought the complaint. I think we can move this forward document, but we should be explicit in saying that that is part of the document, that people won't necessarily have the right to know their accusers or even that they've been accused. I think there are some workability issues here that, you know, like this mentions blood relative. And in a town like Madison with multiple generations of people, I don't know where blood relative, does that, you know, does that include cousins? Does it include
So these
But-
were all topics that we had at previous meetings. And you know, if there is a concern about some of the procedures, the Ethics Commission, who is the people they're going to be undertaking this process, can make recommendations that we change it. This was modeled in other communities. And I think that we've had ample opportunity to talk about this, to raise all these issues multiple times. Any of these changes could have been raised a month ago, 2 months ago. Any of these public policy issues, we had opportunities to discuss because the draft has not significantly changed since August. So I just feel like
I brought those up.
yeah, and then you were
August.
requested to speak directly with her and make revisions, and you never suggested any edits. You just keep throwing stuff up, but you're not making specific. This is the first specific markup that we've received from Aaron. I mean, it's the first markup, and you never made suggested edits. You just kept questioning the wording. So
I kept looking for the discussion where we could talk
you
about
need to
it.
have suggested wording. So I don't know. So
what if we,
I guess we just have to figure out how we move forward here.
yeah, so I have an idea.
on that.
In the interest of getting something, in getting a policy started, what if we voted to approve the establishment of the policy and the prohibited activities, because there's no issues with that, the establishment of a commission, and then let the commission work on the process and procedures for filing a complaint and for processing a complaint, because that's where I have, I mean, that's where I have the issues. That's where I think that there's some real concerns. But I have no objection to us adopting a policy and getting this started. And I want to make that clear. But so anyway, that's just an idea for how we can perhaps get.
I think that I appreciate you suggesting that. The other option to do this, because I don't know if we can tear apart this ordinance, is adopt the ordinance and then vote as a board to recommend the new commission review your suggested changes for revisions, for future revisions. And I'm happy to support that.
Good idea.
So that you know, we direct the new Ethics Commission to review the recommended the changes that you have suggested on policies and procedures, and come back with what their views are. Because I don't know what my opinion are on some of your suggestions, because we haven't debated them. I mean, we went through this several times, and we were all in alignment on what was in the document. So I'm thinking I'd be happy to do a resolution at the end of passing this, and make a recommendation that those things get further review and they can come back for amendment by the board.
Like that.
I believe the people of Madison want to see us get a ethics function in place. I think we've been waiting a long time for this. We've all observed that sometimes the perfect is the enemy of the good. And in this case, we have a model that has been successful in Guilford, a sister community, and it seems to have worked successfully for them. I think, of course, it can be improved. And I think the folks who we asked to run this ethics function are probably in the best position to tell us what changes or revisions need to be made. So Peggy, I think we should move forward with passing the ordinance tonight. I like the suggestion you made that we specifically instruct our commissioners when they're appointed to take a look at the comments that Aaron and others have made and consider making recommendations back to the future Board of Selectmen as to what changes, if any, need to be made in this. But I think tonight we need to move ahead with an ordinance.
So it's my intention to vote an ordinance forward tonight. I'm a little disappointed that this is our best effort. And Peggy, I know you're saying we've had ample discussion, but we've never had a facilitated discussion of the text, the five of us going through each of the points of policy. So we're going to be moving a policy forward tonight that can't ever actually be implemented and executed on without some serious revision. There's some real technical issues with the document, and I think there are some real philosophical questions that need to be answered. So I'm going to end with, we can call the vote when we're comfortable with it, and I intend to vote for it. I do not intend to obstruct this, but I would hope that we could do better, and I hope that we will do better in the future.
Okay, so I guess with that, then all in favor of approving the ethics code as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So was everybody voted? Yep. Okay. So any, okay, all saying nay.
Nay.
Okay. Okay. So I guess what we could do is make a motion to, we don't need to open up the agenda, right? Some of the same discussion topics. So I'd like a motion to for the Board of Selectmen to recommend that the newly established Ethics Commission review the policies and procedures for further amendment and recommended changes back to the Board of Selectmen as submitted by Selectman Duquesne.
And any other comments?
And any other comments from board members?
So just a point of order question. Are we charging a commission that we haven't yet actually created?
It will be created through the ordinance. And then we'll have to actually put people on the commission. I'm just saying, when we create the commission, we will then recommend that they review these policies and procedures and make recommended changes back to the Board of Selectmen.
I think a parting gift for Erin is we should have her interview candidates still.
Maybe she wants to be on the Ethics
Say,
Commission.
Maybe you'll be on it. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
And you can
I like your
recommend.
thinking. See?
That's right.
Look, you're gonna stay
You
hooked
can
into
make
this
lots
thing.
of recommendations.
Nice. Well played, Erin. Well played.
So, that was kind of a murky motion, but Lauren, do you want to read back what I suggested? Lauren's probably like,
Well, yeah,
out of the count now. So,
I'm still trying to type kind of what you said. So, so the motion was to request that the newly established committee be responsible for reviewing the ordinance, including the suggested revisions by Selectwoman Duquesne, and reporting back any additional changes to the Board of Selectmen.
recommended changes to the policies and procedures. Right? Okay.
So moved.
Do I get a second? Okay.
Second, whatever you want me to do.
All right. All right. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Erin?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great.
You have to vote for your own name.
Can I recommend Erin Duquesne as the chair of the Ethics Commission? All in favor? You're a lawyer, Erin, too, so.
I know, that's why these things are concerned.
Right. So that vote was just to open the agenda, right?
No,
Well,
we
no,
said
I
we
didn't need
decided
to
we didn't
open
have
it
to because we're under the
because
same topic.
It's on the discussion of the ordinance, so it's just making a recommendation. I'm assuming Lauren, correct?
Yeah, you are adding a new item. You were just adding a second motion to the same item.
Okay. All right. So with that, congratulations, and we will all move on to the next item on the agenda was, can I get a motion to approve with regret the resignation of Kristen Kilburg from the Youth and Family Services Board and the resignation of Bruce Beebe from the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee?
So moved with huge appreciation.
In a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye, and thank you for your service very much.
I think that actually means 3 openings right now in Madison Youth and Family. So just a heads up.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yep. Aaron.
Very, very active board too, so.
Geez, my plate's getting pretty full.
We could still hang out on Youth and Family.
Okay, number 8, Bruce, I'll let you do it.
I'm
Nothing in the
scrolling,
packet, right?
I'm scrolling through. There's a lot of them. I don't know if it's a lot of money, but okay, so it looks like $12,307.60 is the motion.
The second.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
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 All right, citizens' comments.
All 5 of them.
Where's Gus when you need him?
I know Gus hasn't been around the last couple of meetings. Have you noticed?
No one has their hand raised.
All right, with that, I will say a motion to adjourn the Board of
So moved.
Selectmen. All right, thank you, everybody.
Bye,
And good
everybody.
luck.
Bye. Thanks, Aaron.
Godspeed. and
Good luck to you.
All right, thanks. Enjoy your life.
You can now
Forget
be a
your life back,
participant. You
Aaron.
can come be an
So-
attendee. See you guys.